Good morning, Mr. Tinnel. Today is Thursday, April 30th. We've almost made it a whole month of doing online school. Congratulations, or at least spring break was in there, but today we're going to be talking about the Great Depression, and it is going to be a little longer, but there's a reward at the end with a game. There's a fun game we're going to play at the end, so that's your incentive to stick through it. My good thing, I got a haircut yesterday. Jen cut my hair. She did an excellent job, and I took Lily to the vet yesterday. She weighs 73 pounds. She just had to get some booster shots, so she's good. Hope you guys are doing well. Hope you're still you still got good things. Let's jump into today's lesson. Don't want to take any more time than we have to. There is a guided notes sheet, some short questions, pretty basic. So we're starting with the Great Depression today. And with the Great Depression, we're going to start with vocabulary. We're going to basically preview the entire subject and then go into more depth as we go on later in this presentation. So starting out, we have basic vocabulary, basic financial vocabulary. First, you see expenditures. Expenditures is a cost or money spent on something. That is money that you actually spend to buy something. That is money that is in your wallet, in your pocket, that you hand to someone else to buy something. You are buying something with your own money. On the other side of that is credit. Credit is an arrangement in which consumers agree to buy now and pay later for purchases. To buy something with credit, you do not need the money right now. You do not hand over any of your own money. You're saying, I want this thing now, I'll pay for it later. Credit is not bad, but the problem with credit is that you can eventually pay more because of interest. So something that may cost $100 with interest may cost $150. So yeah, you get it now, but you're going to pay more for it later. So credit is not bad. You just need to have the money to pay for the thing that you're buying. The longer it takes you to pay off credit, the worse it is for you. Additionally, basic terminology, we see the stock market. The stock market is the global market for stocks and shares. People can trade investments in businesses here. The stock market exists today. The stock market is a place where companies go and ask for your money. And the goal is that if you give them your money, they are going to do good things with your money. You have invested in them. So they're going to spend your money for their company to grow. And if their company grows, your money is going to increase too. So the investment that you put in them, it will grow also as basically a thank you for loaning us money. And you can go invest in the stock market today. Maybe you shouldn't because the market's not doing too great. But there are actually opportunities out there. Some things are growing right now. Start getting into the financial problems of the Great Depression. The first problem that we see with the Great Depression is buying on margin, the term buying on margin. Buying on margin is people buying stocks, so buying into a company with mostly borrowed money. You cannot invest money that you don't have. So let's say I took out a loan for $100 and I put that $100 into a company. The company collapses. The company dissolves. My $100 disappears. Well, at the end of the month, the bank comes asking, well, we want our payment for our $100. I can't pay you because I don't have that money. I lost it in an investment. The bank isn't going to accept that as an answer. This problem was happening across the country on massive levels. People were taking risks and putting loan money in the stock market. This happened across the board, and this is one of the major factors in the stock market collapsing. We also saw a lot of people speculating. They were buying stocks and bonds in hope of making a quick profit. That is not what the stock market is meant to do. The stock market is meant for long-term investment. It was not meant for get rich quick. All of these things start leading to defaults, the failure to meet an obligation, especially a financial one. People started missing their bills, missing their loans. They weren't paying their bills, and their loans were defaulting. They were failing. Major events during this time, the Bonus Army is a very notable event in which World War I veterans who had come home from Europe marched on Washington to demand the bonus that they were guaranteed for going to fight in the war. When they came back, they didn't get that bonus, so they marched on Washington to protest, and it's crazy how this whole story is crazy. Veterans were fired on by the U.S. military in Washington, D.C. These guys were shot at because they were protesting for money that they deserved. We also see the Dust Bowl. The Dust Bowl was a central region of the United States that was economically destroyed when drought and mismanaged lands struck in the heartland of America. The breadbasket of the United States, the agricultural center of the United States, was devastated from a massive drought, and these winds blew dust all over the country. This is one of the big factors in the Great Depression, let alone the financial problems. We also see agricultural problems. Society's actions and effects, things that we see happening in the country. We start seeing soup kitchens pop up across the country. Soup kitchens were a Depression solution to provide free or low-cost meals to unemployed or poor people. These are similar to bread lines. Over here on the right, this is from the FDR Memorial in Washington, D.C. If you ever make it to Washington, D.C., to the FDR Memorial, this is a very memorable series of statues. Those represent people standing in bread lines waiting for food because they can't afford food, because food isn't available. Bread lines were a common solution to help people survive. We also saw shanty towns, area where people lived in shacks, boxes, or old cars during the Depression. Because people were defaulting on their mortgages, defaulting on their house payments, they had to live somewhere. They had to survive. They started building these shanty towns. And these shanty towns were also known as Hoovervilles, named after Herbert Hoover, the president of the time, because people felt that it was his fault that people had lost their jobs. We'll talk about him a little bit more later. So once the Depression starts and FDR takes office, we start seeing government action. The government steps in to try to solve this problem. The Great Depression started under Herbert Hoover, but FDR is the one who takes control of it. He takes control through direct relief. Direct relief was a type of relief where poor received cash payments or food provided directly by the government. The stimulus checks that you may have heard about that the government is sending out right now, the small business loans that the government is sending out right now, those are direct relief. That is direct money sent to the people. President Roosevelt also creates the New Deal. The New Deal were programs that focused on the 3 R's. He focused on the 3 R's in the New Deal: relief for the unemployed, recovery of the economy, and reforming the financial system to prevent another disaster. So looking at causes, we see the stock market crash. Quick little video documenting the stock market crash there to really understand how large the stock market crash was. That was the beginning of the Great Depression. But with the stock market crash, not every American had money in the stock market. It only affected a small bit of the economy. What affects everyone are bank failures. Banks exist to loan money. Yeah, they hold your money and they give you a small amount of interest for holding your money. But banks exist to loan money. So what, and this is simplifying what banks do, but basically we all put our money into a bank and the bank then loans our money out. So I'm able to buy my car with your guys' money. And in return, I pay back the amount that my car is worth, the amount that I took out on a loan, and interest, and an extra amount. So that extra amount is my payment to the bank, and then it's basically a thank you to you for letting me loan your money, because use your loan money, because you get a reward for keeping your money in the bank with interest. So basically that is a thank you for putting your money in the bank and letting me use it. The problem with bank failures is people are afraid that banks are going to fail. People are afraid that their money is going to disappear. So they run to the bank to go pull their money out. But not everybody's money exists in banks. If everybody went and ran to the bank to pull their money out, the bank is not going to have all your money, because banks are in my car, or the money in banks are in my car. They're in our homes. Banks exist to loan money out for things that we cannot buy immediately. So without banks, we couldn't buy homes. We couldn't buy cars. Nobody has enough money to buy a $250,000 house right now. That's a lot of money. It would take a very, very long time to save up that much money. Banks start to fail. If you ran to the bank to pull your money out and you're last in line, you don't get your money. This starts happening all across the country. Bank failures, this was the biggest impact on the Great Depression. This is what hurt everyone. There's also surplus of crops. After World War I, farmers in the United States were supplying the front lines with food. They were producing immense amounts of crops, and then the war ends. So if you have a lot of something, what happens to the value of that? If you've been following the news with oil, if you have a lot of oil, what happens to the value of that? It drops. So farmers were losing money because crops were becoming worthless. We start seeing a reduction in spending because people are losing their jobs. High tariffs means that we're not trading, and countries all over the world are not trading with each other. They're isolating. And then drought conditions and the Dust Bowl that we discussed earlier. So this perfect storm of situations leads to the Great Depression. You see pictures here of bank runs, people running to the bank to pull their money out. So what was the Great Depression in a minute? This is a quick video. It is a minute long. It explains the Great Depression. It's a pretty good job. But to understand how serious the Great Depression was, by the time President Roosevelt takes office, there are at least 15 million people unemployed, probably more. At least a quarter of the nation, maybe a third. So the unemployment rate in 1933 was 25%. Just to put that into perspective, the current unemployment rate after the COVID-19 shutdown is 20%. So to get a sense of how many people are unemployed, imagine you are one of 100,000 people in a football stadium. Panther Stadium is about 60,000, so a stadium bigger than Panther Stadium. And as you file out, you're handed a piece of paper saying you're fired. Imagine the next week, 100,000 more come into the stadium. And as they leave, you're told you no longer have a job. Now imagine that happening for 52 weeks of the year for 3 straight years. We will now have approximated the total number of unemployed when Franklin Roosevelt takes office. incredible unemployment. So what led to this? President Hoover's actions led to this. There was this, sorry, I apologize. President Hoover did not cause the Great Depression, but President Hoover did not do enough to stop the Great Depression. He did not use direct relief to help the American people. He promoted rugged individualism. You yourself are the only one who can fix your problem. Pull yourself up by your bootstraps. You can fix this. Well, no, we couldn't. We needed help. As a result, he is blamed for a lot of the Depression's issues. And there's a quick 1-minute video on Hoover there. President Roosevelt comes into office. Hoover is not elected, not reelected. President Roosevelt is reelected. He ends up being reelected 4 times, or reelected 3 times. He was president. He was voted in as president 4 different terms. The only president to serve more than 2 terms. There's now a constitutional amendment that prevents that. But Americans saw him doing something. They saw him fixing the country. President Roosevelt immediately used direct relief to help American people. Within his first 100 days, he declared a bank holiday. He closed banks to prevent people from running in and pulling their money out. He called Congress back into special sessions for 3 months, and he got 15 bills signed into law. Those were considered the New Deal. $500 million in direct relief. He helps boost those crop prices that had fallen. He gives people, unemployed people, construction jobs. He outlaws child labor. He creates Social Security, retirement benefits, unemployment benefits. So much government action that truly did pull us out of the Great Depression. So we see some firsthand accounts here. I really, really, really suggest watching Depression Cooking with Grandma Clara. Clara is amazing. She is so sweet. She creates a great potato hot dog recipe that they ate during the Great Depression. Small town life during the Great Depression, that's okay. That's not bad either. It's a series of interviews. And Sunny California is a nice folk song by Mary Sullivan if you have a minute to listen. So now we get to the end and we see Build Your Stacks stock market simulation. So what we're going to do now is go through a stock market simulator. For the sake of time, I'm going to create another video that shows me going through Build Your Stacks. I'm going to start this process, and I'm not going to continue with the entire thing though. The next video, I will play around so you can see everything that I do. So, Build Your Stacks is a game where you have 20 years to grow your wealth. You're going to play alone. You'll have 20 years to make some moolah. The bar will go down over the course of the year. As the year goes by, the bar goes down. You have $4,000 in pocket cash. Every 6 months, you get $4,000 more dollars. You can reinvest that $4,000. You can reinvest that $4,000 in 7 different opportunities. They will each of these will unlock over the course of a game. We'll go through a few of those. When an investment is unlocked, it will open a lesson to explain how this investment works. And it's very important that you really should read over those. If you need a refresher, you can click the question mark. If you see the symbol, you can toggle between balance and profit. Basically, that gets a little more thorough, but basically you can see how much money you have in an individual area. Leaderboard, achievements, and a portfolio. Don't worry about those because you're going to record your scores at the end. All right, so when I click ready, it's going to go. But I want to tell you the one exit ticket item for this. Jump over to here. At on the last page, it's going to give you a results screen. I would like you to put the money from each of those categories in your guided notes. before we start, this is going to seem hectic. It's going to seem stressful, like it's moving, it's moving, it's moving. You can't stop it because you can't really stop it. There is no pause. Here's the point to take home. You do not, you could just sit on your money and not do anything with it, and you would still make money in this game. So don't stress that you're not making the right decisions. Even if you just click play and let it play through, you would get money. So don't stress about not being able to pause it or it's moving too quickly. It's fine. You don't have to, there's no wrong answer. So that was one thing when I started, I was stressing over it, saying, oh, well, I don't know what to do. It's okay. You're going to make money out of this. It's fun to try to make as much money as you can, but all right, so here we go. The only time the game is paused is when it opens up a new place for you to invest. So you click through, read what a savings account is. So a savings account won't make you a ton of money, but it is a great place to save your money. So I have $4,000 in pocket cash, and you see my time going down. I'm going to deposit, I'm going to put money in, and I'm going to put all of my pocket cash in the bank. So I will earn some interest on this money. See there, I just earned some interest on my money for putting it in the bank. Now, the problem is I don't have any pocket cash. So if something bad happened, which bad things happen in this, I wouldn't get any money. I wouldn't have any money. So I would have to withdraw that. Your savings is always accessible to you, though. You can always tap into your savings. So I'm going to deposit all of my savings. And there we go. All right, so my first year is almost down. I have an incoming investment. So it is going to, so I will go down here and click unlock. Again, this pauses it. This describes what a certificate of deposit is. Basically, a certificate of deposit is a place to invest your money over a long period of time. So I'm going to, I'm going to buy. I'm going to deposit it for 3 years. It gives me a high interest rate because I'm saying I'm not going to touch this money for 3 years, and they will give me this this percent back. Oh no. Oh, this is good. A video of my cat has gone viral. I got $500. Excellent. If I go to 3 months, you see that percentage drops. And actually, that APR over 3 months is probably better. And that's the thing. You can play around with this. So right now, you see I don't have any pocket cash, but all of my investment. Uh-oh, I got a ticket. I have to find funds because all my pocket cash is in the bank. So I need to withdraw 200, withdraw. Now I pay with pocket cash. All right. So I have new investments, unlock an index fund. Basically that tracks the entire stock market. It is this is an easy way to invest. Whatever the Dow Jones, S&P does, that is what this investment is going to do. So I'm going to buy all of my pocket cash into that. See, so I'm starting to make money because the market's going up. And I'm going to buy more on this. Oh no, storm blew through. So pay that with pocket cash. Ouch. So I don't want to make this any longer. I'm gonna hold it here. And again, if this is starting to get stressful, because there are still 4 more places that you would add, 4 more investments that you would add. If it seems stressful, don't invest. If you wanted, you could just deposit everything into your savings for this entire game. You could deposit everything through this entire game, and that would be enough. So again, I'm going to have a video where I actually play this correctly if you want to watch through that. And when you get to the end, let's see if I can open up. Where's 1.6? When you get to the end, you're going to get to an image that looks something like this. That is where you're going to find your money that you're going to put into the guided notes at the end. All right. Thank you, everybody. I hope you have fun with that. Play around and make some money. And we will be in touch. Thank you very much. Bye.